Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today is construction day 6 here at the pool built at Villa Feliz. Yes, we are into construction day 6. Now, if you are into digging, today's show is going to be for you. As has been since day one, we're doing digging, but we're getting close to going into the next phase, which will hopefully be doing installation of other things like rebar and whatever it takes to build the pool. Now, I haven't seen the contractor, so some of the questions that you've asked have yet to be answered. When the contractor of the pool company comes here, we'll talk about some other things that people are asking about. Right now is digging. So let's get into that digging. Now, without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know we have a lot of pet lovers on our channel, and we're pet lovers here too, and people keep asking about Marianne. Where is Marianne? Well, Marianne kind of hangs out on the front porch out here, and Hapon, he kind of hangs around the backyard. That's their two favorite areas. And you're probably wondering, why do we have Hapon chained up here? Well, it's not a chain, it's a little leash right here. But we are keeping the service gate open, and it's wide open for the maintenance people or the builders, the pool builders, so that they can get in and out, move soil back and forth, get their tools. And we don't want this little guy running outside. You're probably saying, how come Marianne doesn't have to do that? Well, Marianne has this really clever little thing here, this little collar. And as you see this little collar, it has this little sensor on it. And what the sensor is, it's a receiver. It's like a radio receiver, and we have around the yard, the entire perimeter of the yard, it goes all the way around underneath the soil. There's a little wire, and it connects to a little box that has a transmitter. And if the animal gets too close with the collar to that area, it sends out an audible alert, a little beeping sound, and that's the first warning. Now, using that invisible fence works really well for Marianne, and it gives her the mobility that she can run around the yard, and she's not locked in and not in a cage or anything like that, because we don't really like doing that. We like the dogs being able to roam free. All right, well, let's get back to construction. So I just kind of want to show you something that's really interesting, and it's a real big attribute to the soil here in this subdivision. I don't know how it is in other parts, and I imagine it's the same in most parts of the Philippines, because you see let's look over the fence. You can see over the fence all the weeds and the growth, and well, you can imagine over hundreds of thousands and millions of years, it all mixes in with the earth. It gets compressed, it makes soil, but the thing is, it makes for really good drainage. All that organic material makes for good drainage. Now, I got to tell you, our measurement, if you check on our weather station, we have a PWS right up here that reports, and it reports from right here in our backyard. And it will show you rain events. It will show you the event, how much rain is accumulating in a day, in an hour. It shows you all of that. And the event is normally within a 24-hour period. And I will tell you, we've had almost 4 inches of rain. I think I read it this morning, and it was 3.96 inches of rain. And it was last night it rained a lot, but you can see it's dry here now because it has allowed that water to drain into the porous the sand and dirt and everything in the bottom down here. Now, you would think, oh, well, maybe it's soft, and the soft base is not really good for a pool, but it's not. This is really hard. You could see them struggling to break up the soil inside here, but whatever the organic makeup of this is, it works really good for drainage. And it's helped us out a lot with the yard here, because with all the rain that we get during rainy season, we've had no problems with flooding here. We've been very fortunate to not have to deal with any water issues. Now there's another thing I wanted to mention this morning before we really get into too much of the pool construction. Is I want to show you what they dug up a couple of days ago. You see this little boulder over here? That big rock formation they dug up in this part of the swimming pool right here. And I said, oh, let's save that. That'll be a nice, it's very heavy. It took two of the guys to lift that and get it back over in this area back here. And so if we find, as we're digging, we find anything like that, we'll include it into the landscaping. I remember when we built the cistern, which is underneath the raised bed garden over there, there was a stone about 3 times the size of that, and they struggled and they struggled and they struggled to get it out, and I told them to save it for me, but they put it down and it got covered up somewhere in the corner of the yard over there when we were doing the landscaping and the earth movement back here. So somewhere back there I got a really nice rock, but I'm not going to dig it up now. Well, here it is lunchtime, and like we have had almost every day this week, sometime during the day, thunderstorms, some rain, and like I said, sometimes we get quite a considerable amount of rain. Well, I'm going to walk out here while it's light raining right now, so I can show you. It's lunchtime right now. The guys are on a break. What I asked them to do, I asked them to clear out this area right here so I can cut off this pipe. Now I was going to do this now, but I need to have electricity because I'm going to do a fusion weld on the end to put a cap on the end of this pipe right here. You can't do that while it's raining. It's not a good safety practice to do that. So here we are. You can see they really cut out a lot in the 4-foot section over here today. So as soon as the rain stops and it's a little drier, we'll go ahead and do that. Now, sometimes I do other things other than talk about the topic of the day, which is building a pool. We'll talk a little bit about PPR and fusion welds. We've done that in other episodes, and I also have something else if I can get to it today. If it stays dry enough, we have lights all around. We have lights all around on the inside of our fence, and we hooked that up to a photo sensor. One of our photo sensors went bad. We have an inside the fence and outside the fence lights, and they're both on independent photo sensors. One is working now, one went out the other night. The same exact time that we had a power outage, I think that maybe there was a little bit of a surge from one of the transformers. So we'll do that too today if we can. It depends on the weather. Well, it's still raining. It's after lunch, but I know this team doesn't like to stop working even when there's a small amount of rain. And although we can't do the PPR pipe, what we can do is we can snip off the end. We can snip off the end of the PPR pipe, and they can pull it out of the way, and we can flush it out later for reuse. We just want to make sure we don't leave any dirt inside the pipe when we hook it back up to the irrigation system, so that we don't clog up any of the heads. I keep this really neat Milwaukee PPR cutter. This is for PVC PPR. And this is really good, and this will come in handy. We'll probably use this when we're also placing all the pipes in for the run. This is always an interesting time too when you start receiving building supplies. And here is some of the stuff for mixing up concrete and all the mixtures that we're going to be needing for the construction of the CHB of the swimming pool. And speaking of concrete hollow block, right here, here's our delivery. And this is going to do the formwork. This isn't actually the structure that's going to hold the pool together. This is actually going to be the background for the skeleton that's made up of the mortar mix and the rebar, the steel reinforcement. Hey, we're on work hold. Not much of anything is going to get done right now. Not the little photo light, the photo sensor, and not even the cap on the end of the PPR. But that's okay. We'll flush out the pipes if they get some soil inside there. I think we are going to reroute them like some of you have suggested instead of going up underneath the pool. And I'll explain why later. Well, we have water in the pool. We don't mean to have water in the pool, but we have water in the pool. Now, I think what I'm going to do, those other things I was talking about today that had to do with the photo sensor, I think I'll do the repair on it tomorrow, unless it really gets dry, because it's actually raining right now. And I have to cut some wires. It has to do with electricity. I just want to make sure everything's safe. So that'll probably be put off until tomorrow. But something I want to talk about, you can't see over my shoulder, but inside the Bahay Kubo, our contractor's here, so I was able to talk with him today, and thanks to one of our other subscribers who brought it to my attention, they asked me, were they going to put some support beams in the bottom of the pool? If you build anywhere that has activity such as seismic activity, like we sometimes do from Taal Volcano, and down in Batangas City, which is about, I don't know, 20 or 30 kilometers south of us, they're on a fault zone down there. Sometimes they get some tremors that we actually feel up here as well. So although we're not on an active fault here, right here, we get effects from other places that are nearby, again, like Taal or Batangas City. So if you're building a swimming pool that might have the effects of some earth movement around your pool itself, you might want to do something like put beams in the bottom. So I think they go by different names, but they're a beam. It's just like having the floor beam inside your house, and its additional support gives extra strength. I think the contractor here calls them cross beams because they crisscross from one side of the swimming pool to the next. And what that does, that gives a little bit of stability to the very bottom of the foundation of the swimming pool, and it will give it more strength in the event that you have earth movement. Now, what I'm going to do, and I hope our subscriber doesn't mind, I'm going to show a picture of his pool. It will give you an example of what the beams look like, the cross beams. Well, I kind of feel bad about talking about a specific topic today and really not getting into it, but I do have the device, and this has to do with the photo sensor for the light system we have on our fence on the inside and the outside. Now, I have two of these, and I'm going to show you these here, and if I get a chance to fix them, I will. If not, you know what the problem is. There's something burned out inside. On the inside here, there's just a photo cell inside. There's a timer. There's some chips inside here, some diodes, a couple resistors. There's just some electronics inside here. And the basic fundamental of this is you have an input and an output. So you would normally leave your light switch that goes to your lights on the outside turned on all the time. What this will do is the basic fundamental of a photo sensor. When there is light out, it will turn your lights off. It will stop the flow of electricity, and that's what these wires are right here. You have a black, a white, and a red, and it tells you right on here what each one of the wires are for. It tells you there, and it also tells you right here. This is a very simple device, and the way it works is you have power coming in here, then it comes out here on the red one. If you have light, the photo sensor stops the flow of electricity from the black to the red, and your lights are turned off during the daytime. And then this little white wire right here, the white wire is connected both to your return, your neutral on your electricity, and the neutral return on your lights. It's going to be connected up to 2 wires instead of 1. And they give you these little pieces of tape here with the information of what they are actually connected. It works really good. Now, I've had this. This is made by Omni. But it's also, there's some generic brands, and they're all the same electronics. This one lasted me 3 years. One is still working fine, and one lasted 3 years. And they're very simple to replace. Basically, cut off your old wires, connect your new wires, and then you're good to go again. That's what we'll do when we have a dry time. And again, make sure if you do this, you either have a qualified electrician, or if you know a little bit of electronics yourself, make sure you take safety precautions like cut off the power at the breaker, cut off the power at the switch, and make sure nobody, like your kids, are running around the house flipping switches. Now, you remember the brand new Omni photo sensor that I showed you? Well, this is the old photo sensor, and if you look, you can kind of see. You see this is all burnt inside of here. And I was going to show you what's inside. Remember I talked about some of the electrical components? Well, this is the electrical components that are inside of here. And you can see we have some damage. It's obvious. As soon as I opened it up, I could see that there was some type of a bad malfunction in electronics here. This is a normal indication when you see this scorching on here, and that's a bad thing. And that's what happened with this device right here. And on the inside, you can see there's still some burns in here as well. So anyway, this failed. And it pretty much, I can tell you, it's pretty much as a result of a power surge, and probably one of the components on here was degraded, and then it just it fried. Okay, well, I promised you I was going to take you out to the pool and talk with you about what the contractor talked with me about. And we're just going to have to push this off to another time because it's been raining pretty heavy for the last half hour. As a matter of fact, the guys are trapped in the Bahay Kubo right now, waiting for the rain to go down enough that they could jump back into their truck so they can get to where they're staying at just up the road, maybe only a couple, 2 or 3, 4 kilometers away from here. We'll talk about that tomorrow. It'll give me something interesting to talk to you about other than digging, but it's really some interesting information to make sure that we have a quality pool built here at Villa Feliz. I'm going to close from right here. I know there was other things that I wanted to talk about, but I can't think of it right now, and I want to close and get into a dry spot. Well, I'm actually kind of in a dry spot on the lanai right now because we're covered. So anyway, I will see you tomorrow. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. Please share, and if you have not subscribed, just click on that little MyPI Dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. you will be subscribed and you will be notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, from here in the Philippines, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.